going straight into the wind on this bend. There's no protection on either shore because both have pretty strong waves. And my boat here is filling up with water. I am completely soaked. But right now I need to go over that bridge right there and get to a bait shop that's holding on to some mail for me with some gear in it. It's really windy, and I tried hitching, but nobody's gonna pick me up because this bridge is really narrow with no shoulder. But I keep switching sides when the trucks go by so that I don't get mashed, because they're pretty close. Hey guys, check this out. I'm with Luke. Picked me up in a literal limousine with muskets and stuff. Luke said he was going for Chinese food down in Pierre, South Dakota, also a Missouri River town, and offered to give me a ride. I told him about the kayak, and he said we could bring the kayak too. It got me thinking that I wasn't really making any progress at all with all this wind, so I may as well go on down to the dam, go on the other side of it, because the lake down there is massive, and then continue on. But I had to find a way to make up all those lost miles because I don't want to skip any distance if I can prevent it. I want this entire thing to be human powered. Even without the canoe, I'd have to get a bike or walk or something. The bike's not really any good, kind of a piece of junk. But that's what you get for 60 bucks. And I rode it up to Walmart and got some junk for a bike that I was gonna buy at Walmart. And while I was in the aisle at Walmart, I got a text from Jim Emanuel, the guy I met on Canyon Ferry Lake, and he's like, hey, I just got to Pierre. So if you need anything, I'll be in the area for a couple days. I was like, do you have a bike? So I'm gonna be borrowing a bike from his friend instead of this one that's a little worse for wear. And then going up to Gettysburg and then riding south back to here. So yeah, the side quest continues. Would have been impossible to paddle the lake without getting swamped. And the forecast looks about the same for the next week. Wind every day. So I think I made the right call, and we'll see if I can get this bicycling done. Got the bike, hooked up with Jim, and got the rack on it, and all outfitted out with my pack tied on to go. And one more stop, a sandwich shop, and then gonna go sleep under a bridge, like the troll that I am. Jim paddled the entire river all the way down to the Gulf a couple years ago. He didn't have to go out of his way for another paddler, but he did, and I owe him big time for that. So this was a bed for a deer, I guess, but tonight it's gonna be for me. Jim just dropped me off down by the bridge where I got the original hitch, so I'm not losing any miles, and I'm gonna sleep in the grass. I'm a ways off the road, so I don't think anyone will find me. I saved weight on the bicycle by not bringing much gear. Part of that was not bringing a tent because no rain was forecast, but the rain woke me up a little before 4 a.m. and I started riding right away, pedaling for 3 hours in the dark before it started to get the gray light of dawn. I hardly saw any traffic at all on these long country roads, except for when I saw 3 pickup trucks all lined up one after the other, and these deer decided to run out right in front of them and me. Nice comfy sleep in the grass, but 4 a.m. the rain started and woke me up. I'm like, well, may as well get on down the road instead of sitting here. So I went into the lobby of a motel nearby and filled up my water bottle and started paddling at like a little after 4, and then went on through the night. I didn't see much traffic, although I do have a blinking light and a headlamp, so maybe they would have seen me. But I've been going ever since, and it's finally a chance to see these Great Plains, which is a landscape that I love, and I haven't really been able to enjoy because I've just been getting slaughtered by the wind the whole time, you know? And I love it out here. There was one sunflower field, the real rainy sky behind it, and just one single tree growing in the middle of it. And it's just so wide open, you can see on and on. It's like my little brother says, you can watch your dog run away for a week. Patrick Wellner, a kayak racer, has hosted other Missouri River paddlers before, and he held onto my kayak while I was doing the bike ride. He's also been holding on to some mail for me for a couple days. And here I had some warmer gear and most importantly, a paddling skirt that goes around the cockpit so that when this rain and waves come over, it doesn't go into the cockpit, it just falls off the skirt. I got food, and then he dropped me at a campground just downstream from the dam where I could get an early start the next morning. As of last night, I crossed the 45th parallel, which is halfway between the equator and the North Pole. It's the first nice day I've had in a while where the sun's shining and the wind is calm, and I'm getting it done out here on Lake Sharp. The forecast says it won't last. It's just one day break in the windstorm, so I will try and make the best of it, as I usually do. Anyway, besides just paddling through the wind, I got a chance to talk to Dottie on the phone, and I got some photos from a family group chat. My brother and his wife just had twins, and I wish I was there to help them celebrate or help them with their kids or whatever, and I definitely want to meet those twins. So one more reason to go as fast as I can to get to Florida, and just another reason to keep getting after it, you know, as if I didn't have enough. But instead of running away from winter, now there's something to run towards in Florida. And it makes a difference when you do things out of love instead of out of fear. And winter is definitely something that inspires fear in me. So I think that will be an improvement going forward, having another reason to go towards Florida instead of away from the north. It's getting cold enough to pack meat out of town, and I don't have to worry about it getting spoiled, so I've been packing it out and cooking it over a fire on nights that I can find wood. Even in the rough wind, there was this beaver that had been moseying around my camp, and in no rush to get back to the water as I followed along and got closer and closer to him to see what he looked like. He really didn't care at all that I was right behind him until he ducked into the water. I don't know what was wrong with that beaver. I was right behind him. And he just walking along. I'm about to go into this massive, like 21, 22 mile bend. And I'm basically gonna go in every direction. I'm going southeast, and then east, and then north a little bit, and then south, and then west to go south again through this bend. And I have to make a decision when I get up there in about 7 or 8 miles if I'm going to have to sit and wait for these big winds that are coming later this morning and into the afternoon, or if I'm going to have to try and walk across, because that tailwind's going to turn into a side wind, headwind when I get into the bend. Because the wind's not going to change, but the direction of the lake is going to change. It's not going to be easy to carry this pig across the bend, but it'd be better to do that than to sit and wait for the conditions to change. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I just crossed that big mess behind me by the grace of God, because man, there was a couple times I thought I was going in, you know? That was rough, man. I didn't know if I was gonna make it. I was praying the whole time because, man, I thought I was going in. And I got right to the end, and my boat was turned sideways. And if I would have been in that, there's no way I could have swam out of it. And man, I just needed to get like 50 more yards, and this wave just picked me up and carried me all the way to shore. It just planted me right on the ground. Oh my gosh. That was the hardest thing on this river so far. That was rough. I'm portaging it. across the bend. There's a lake. I just carried it up that hill. Still got a long ways to go, but it's too dangerous to paddle. So I'm carrying everything so I can still make the miles. It's not easy work, but I can see the other side of the oxbow right now. And I can't drag it because there's gravel, so I don't want to scratch the hull up, but I am carrying it one step at a time over these hills. I'm on grass. I'm gonna drag it for a bit. There she is, the other side of the bend. All right, I gotta go back to the badger hole I stashed all that other junk in and make another trip and maybe one more for the water, so third of the way there. Well, it got me. I tried to go with the tailwind and I capsized and went for a swim, dragged everything to shore, and then just emptied out the cockpit, but everything was tied down, so I think we're good there. But I'm gonna get up into these trees, start a fire, start drying out all my stuff, and that's it for me for the day. Have some pretty tremendous waves still. I mean, I tried to paddle in them. I was doing good. I probably made like 3 or 4 miles, but got me. Flipped the boat. It's okay. I'm okay. It's a good thing I capsized when I did, man, because now it's wind and rain coming down. Look out at that water. You can tell, but it's pretty rough. And up here, the wind's ripping in pretty hard over this hill. Pretty rough. And there was a big burst of warm air, and the sky just got dark really fast, and this huge gusts of wind came in. I probably would have died if I was out there. So it's a good thing I capsized when things were a little more mild, and I had enough time to get to shore and put on my backup sets of clothes. It looks like these are gonna get wet too because it's too windy to put my tent up. I fear it'll get shredded, but I can still try.
It was clear that the wind wasn't going to let up anytime soon, so I just had to watch the waves do their thing and then find other ways to kill the time.
Yeah, too windy to paddle for most of the day. So it was late afternoon before I started, and it was still windy at that. Made it to 3.5 miles to Fort Thompson, the dam here. And I just took my first portage load across the road to get south of the dam. Going back for my kayak right now. And I'm probably going to use a little bit of this water that they're letting off as sort of a current just to get pushed out into Lake Francis Case. Dragging on the grass helps. How many have you caught today?
Me?
Yeah.
Probably 15 or something.
15? Yeah, you're gonna be eating good.
Well, you're allowed to keep 4, so I got my 4. I don't think this one's big enough here.
The wind has calmed down for the first time in 3 days. And at this point, I am just a little more frightened of the wind and what it can do to me than I am of the dark. So I have to choose, right? I have to choose what I'm going to fight, the wind or not being able to see.
And I'd rather go into something blind than be able to see what's about to kill me. It's a hard decision. I'm not making this lightly. But I have winter behind me, a bunch of wind ahead of me, and right now it's dark and neither one is here. So, I mean, it's a tough call, but I'm going south tonight. So these stumps are all over this lake. I mean, presumably from when they impounded the lake to make the dam, it buried all the trees under the water. And I am very carefully getting through with my headlamp and just an inch at a time so that I don't have one bump me underneath, because I've already had two, you know, just while I was going slow. And once I get into some deeper water, I think I'll be a little more happy. Well, the night passage was successful, albeit a little scary, and I had to be vigilant the whole time not to hit any stumps or rocks. But when I was on the big deep water with a cliff right beside me, so I knew it was deep, I was cruising pretty quick, and I wasn't stopping because I wanted to get here. I left my camp yesterday at like 4 p.m., did the portage, that put me at about 6, and then had like another hour of daylight, and the rest was in the dark. So I got 23 miles total, and about 18 of those were in the dark, and then the other 5 were paddling in the daylight and portaging in the daylight. I don't want to do that. I would rather wake up, go out, paddle, get to camp, set up tent at dark and whatever. Paddling at night's really harrowing. There's just a couple inches of water under the bridge and into the marina, so I'm the only one here. But I did hike the half a mile up to the grocery store and then half a mile back with weeks worth of food. I hope I can get it done in 5 days down to Yankton, but you know, with conditions, I'm giving myself 2 extra, so I won't be wanting for food if I do get struck by another windstorm. Oh my gosh. It is beautiful though. It's like these cliffs, and there's a fox watching me right now. I'm watching the fox. And I feel kind of bad for trimming off like 20, 21 miles on that portage I did the other day and missing all that. And then paddling in the dark for 18 last night and missing all that scenery. I don't feel that bad. I mean, I got to make the miles however I can make them. But it is definitely the most scenic lake so far. The rocks are more pronounced. There's finally some little spots of trees here and there to look at. And just with the low water, I can see all these different layers of soil. And there's really not much development on it either. So it is pretty. Yeah, Lake Francis Case. But I am getting out of here. I gotta pee. Oh, all right, I'm getting close. There's what the fox was up to. He was gutting this buck and then went over that hill right there. But this is the beauty I talk about, this spectacular scenery on this lake. And I mean, look at this, you know? I know there's some people that come out to South Dakota on their vacation time, but it's like they go look at that Mount Rushmore, and I don't know what else they do, man, but I feel like this is a really underrated area. Definitely, if you're an angler, you can come out here and catch fish. I've been seeing them jump all day. It was definitely a day that kept getting better and better as it went on, and maybe that's why I found myself so grateful for the conditions and for this landscape, and now for this fire to dry out my body and clothes as get them all ready for tomorrow, you know, start nice and dry and then splash myself into a swamp again tomorrow. There we go, getting some more frost. It's coming, baby. There's a certain chill in the air this morning, and frost last night, of course. But I am trying to make it out of South Dakota completely, free and clear, by Halloween, which is a made-up deadline, but it's 8 days and a little over 200 miles. I think I can do it if conditions hold. If I don't get winded out a bunch more, then I think I can do it. But it's going to mean getting up on mornings like these and taking a big bite out of the frost and just paddling in it, you know. Yeah, there's just this ominous like mist coming off of the water that means this lake is cooling off. The water's cooling off because the water's not terribly cold yet, but you can see the cooling process actively as it meets with the cold air. This lake temperature is starting to come right down. So that's one thing, at least from a survival standpoint, that's going to be hard to compromise on. Because if the air is cold and you fall in the water and the water's not cold yet, okay, you can work with that. But when the air is cold and the water's cold, then you have to pick between being cold or wet. But you can't be both. Well, you can't be both for long. You can be both for a couple of hours, and then your heart will stop. But I will continue going south to warmer waters and warmer temps. It was a difficult yet uneventful day with a headwind, pretty moderate headwind, so doable, not very dangerous. But with going into the sea, so like the swell's going against my boat. And it makes a difference. If I stop paddling for a minute, I start going backwards between the wind and the water pushing me backwards. So, I mean, yesterday I made 31 with a late start, but today I'd be lucky to make 30, you know, because I just have been fighting the water all day long, you know. I did take 1 hour break to let my arms rest and then got back to it. Not much to report. About 5 hours now I've been paddling, and the wind's just been picking up this whole time, and it's pretty strong right now. I can still navigate on it, but it's difficult to fight up against. So I'm gonna take a break, and my back's killing me from paddling all day, and try and get into this mess. I can see the dam way up on in the distance at the end of the lake, and I will be very happy to make it to that dam. But then there's about a 2 mile stretch that I have to portage all this junk. Not looking forward to that, but it has its rewards, you know. Potentially there's a river with current on the other side, and then another lake shortly after that. But oh, it's making me earn it. You know, it's not coming easy. You got the kayak pretty loaded down with stuff still, so I can't imagine that the weight's helping any, but I mean, my hands are getting destroyed by doing this. As soon as I set the paddle down, grab a snack or a drink of water, start going backwards. So it's not helping. Well, that's the end of Francis Case, Lake Francis Case. I'm starting the portage now. It's about 2 miles to the river on the other side. It's a great opportunity to build resilience and learn how to be a stronger man. It is not easy. And 2 miles there, 2 miles back, 2 miles there, 2 miles back. Maybe a third trip, 2. It's 12 miles of walking. If I can do it in 2, it's only 8. Well, that was humbling. Really showed me what I'm not capable of. I was making the second trip, so I was already walked 4 miles with all the gear and stuff, and then picked up the kayak. It's all gravel, so I had to carry it on my head. And I got about half a mile into it, trying to catch a ride and wave someone down the whole time. And I fell over on the road multiple times, but the one time I fell over, like it came down and like the paddle like pinned me right on the chest and neck. And I don't know. A couple of people just like drove right by while I was trying to get out from under it. And that was very humbling. And someone did stop though. Like I was just like on a knee trying to put the thing back up, trying to pick it back up. And then like somebody stopped and helped me get the rest of the way over here. So I rode in the bed of their pickup holding onto the kayak so it wouldn't fall out. And it's I never would have made it by dark anyways. Would have taken me all night to get here. And yeah, man, it was rough.